there was a point where I was a massive atheist as well. I used to listen to a lot of metal, and I used to just be like, like
Yeah, we've
anarchy.
all been there.
But yeah, I was just like, oh, there's no God. And like, what is this God? Only if I see something, I'll believe it. And, now if I retrospectively, when I think about it, I feel like, when they say that rock is, like metal or like heavy metal is satanic, is Satan's music. And when I was young, I used to be like, what is it? Satan is cool, like, what do you mean it's Satan's music and all? But now that I'm older, I feel like why, I try to make that connection between why at the time when I was listening to this music the most, was I the most atheist? That means there must be some connection that I'm not understanding on a very like a vibrational level, because sound is vibration at the end of the day. So either that depletes your vibration or increases it. So I know that there's definitely some connection. And yeah, for a long time in my life, I was very, what do you call? I was very atheist. I was against everything. So I was always against organized religion because I knew that there was something very wrong with the way that people were indoctrinated against each other and, divided in terms of religion. And that's why I just decided that I hate all religion. But now, obviously, after growing up, I've become far more nuanced, or I'd like to believe I've become far more nuanced, where I can say that, there are very good aspects of many of these teachings that we can imbibe happily without having to adhere to any one of them and being like, this is who I am forever and ever without, without any question. So I do feel like it's been a massive journey. It's been a massive awakening. There were so many things that I had to deliberately condition myself out of. As a woman, I think the body is constantly attacked. Your body, and I talk about this a lot in my poetry as well, that your body is attacked, the way that you look is attacked. You're constantly being told how you should think, how you should feel, how you should behave, how you should dress. And I always rebelled against it. So I was like, oh, I'll wear shorts because I want to rebel. Like that was the thought behind it. But now the thought is not I'll wear shorts because I want to rebel. Now it's more, I feel like it's more about understanding culture, understanding why is it that some people are not open to these things? What is the conditioning that they have received over time? Why is it that they, cannot approach a situation with the kind of radical open-mindedness that we can? It's clearly because the exposure that they have been given compared to the exposure that we have been given is very, very different. So I try to be much more understanding about everything that's happening around me and just open my heart to different kinds of people so that I'm much more sensitive rather than just being like, screw this, I don't like it, I won't do it.
And I don't think metal is the devil's music. I think those who say metal is the devil's music should listen to Lil Nas X. Um, right? And I'm glad that you brought atheism because I think even I was an atheist in my teenage and in my early 20s. Now I think I'm more of an agnostic. I don't know what I am, honestly. Uh, but what my experience with other atheists is that even atheists behave in a very religious way. That is, even they get angry when you say something against their opinions. Even they treat Fauci like a godman. Okay, so how is that any different from a person who follows an organized religion? Okay, and even sometimes when atheists say that all terrorists are religious people, I'm like, have you heard of Naxalites? So, and they people today are not interested in acquiring or seeking truth. They are more interested in preserving their narratives. They don't there are two kinds of thinker. There's two kinds of thinking is what I think. There are research based thinkers and conclusion based thinkers. Research based thinkers do the research first, and they may or may not reach a conclusion. And then there are conclusion based thinkers who conclude first, and then they only do the research that agrees with their preconceived conclusion. And a lot of the atheists that I talk to, they are so obsessed with preserving their narrative that any opinion that goes against their narrative, they shun it. It's like a religious person saying, "Oh, you disagree with me, I'm going to issue a fatwa against you." It's the same thing. So, anyways, so do you
That's
ever?
actually a really keen observation. I love how you've assessed that situation. I think that's so right, because I feel like the whole idea of atheism, at least when it came about, was to just be like, okay, there isn't a God. Okay, there isn't a God, and this is what we believe. But I feel like the you know and maybe I'm completely wrong about this, but what I believe, like from my understanding of the human psyche, I believe that we are intrinsically connected to something. We have source energy in us. So we do have this feeling of, you know how do I put it? We have this feeling of like a devout understanding of something bigger than us. And I feel like because every human being has it on some level, atheists also have it. But because they've rejected God, they've, accepted many other figures as a replacement to that God. So whether it's believing in celebrities, whether it's believing in Fauci, like you mentioned, whether it's believing in science, they have created many different gods for themselves under the rules of logic. But that's not logic. That is still you creating this god situation and giving this title to people that absolutely don't deserve it.